Hello, my friends. I had a video where I was talking about a wheat cent that I got recently, which was a 1942. Somebody asked, how do you tell if it's what they call a shell coin, meaning that they used cartridges from World War II to make some of these cents. Well, they did that from 44 to 46, like this one is. So this one's likely a shell case penny, and it's a wheat cent. Got it today. It's They made a lot in 46, and we'll show you what I'm talking about. In the red book, cartridge cases were salvaged for coinage of 44 to 46. And it said the color was slightly different, but the coins were satisfactory overall. So that's what they were talking about when someone says shell case penny. And red book, very handy, doesn't matter what year. All right, so I put a video live earlier, and I was talking, or not live, but it was a prepared short, talking about this. And I was wondering what they would offer on, it says gold and silver at all-time highs, U.S. foreign gold and silver coins, like the $50 and stuff. So I had a tube of $50, and I went down there and asked them what they were willing to pay. Well, a lot of times these traveling shows like that will only pay you about 50%. In fact, the last guy that done that came in town that I went and talked to, he said, the ad said 1,000%, which is 10, or not 10, but yeah, it's 10x basically. So a 50-cent coin he'd be paying $5 for. Now, people refer to these as buffalo nickels, although this is the new version that's they made in 2005. This is a Denver one. There's a little die crack error on these. I don't know how many exist, but there's a little raised section above and below, and maybe even through the buffalo. Although this is actually a bison, not a buffalo, but we all call them buffaloes. So yeah, I did go down and talk to these guys about what they would pay for some of the stuff, expecting them to say something like, well, we'll pay you half melt on this. So I was thinking $8 for a $50, roughly $7.50, $8. Turns out the guy said $12 a $50, and while that's under melt, he's going to turn around and resell it. So I was like, it's a very fair offer, I thought. Now, went by the bank, got this 2000 Philadelphia. I was talking about the Wounded Eagle die, which there's about 100 known to exist, and there'd be a raised part running this way on the lower body of the eagle. If there's 100 known, there could certainly be more. Now, I went by another branch of the bank, and they had this, which Ike dollars, you don't see them very often at the bank. It's 1972 Philadelphia, which a little wear and tear, but not much. And you can kind of see that the eagle, and then you can see the earth in the background, and it's landing on the moon. The eagle has landed. But it's not worn a whole lot, but keep in mind this right above from the field to the top of the eagle's head and wingtips up here is pretty high relief. But getting one of these from the bank is kind of neat because it's still just $1 though, so it's not likely to ever be worth anything more than $1. On Monday, I went by my jeweler, who also sells silver, who's recently told me that he's been slowing down his buying of silver and gold because it's up so high, and he's kind of afraid it might go the opposite way. For it's not doing it yet since it hit $46. Anyway, he had this bag. I'm going to show off the coins one by one. This is a 64 Kennedy, although the date is almost gone. It's not it's not Denver, it's Philadelphia. If it's Denver, there'd be a little mint mark right over here. And that's the only one of these JFKs that have a mint mark on it is the 64 Denver. Because in 65, the JFK started having any mint mark would be on the front, although they were all Philadelphia in 65, 66, and 67. Then I think Denver struck them in San Francisco some up to 1970, but nothing crazy, nothing terribly valuable about 40% ones. Now, he had two standing liberties. This one's a Denver one, but the date's gone. And this one's a Philadelphia one with the date gone, but the wear on the coin itself, when you look at them next to each other, this one is worn quite a bit more, the Denver one. So I'm thinking this one's a pre-24 or before one. And this one's a 24 or before, and this one might be a later. Because they did something different with the date in 1925. Otherwise, almost all these would be dateless. Now, last thing looks like someone hit it with a ball peen hammer. It's 47, I believe. Roosevelt dime that's pretty battered. Almost looks like there might have been a mint mark there. But this, if you look, you can see it rocking on the face of that 50 cent. So it's bent pretty bad. All right, last week, we're going to cover last week a little bit. Because I bought a couple World Silver coin lots, 2 different bags. This one was $15. Hello, Mark. Right off the bat, there was 2 of these Morales pesos, which are very little silver in them. They're 10% by content. The recent melt price puts them around $2.20, roughly. It might be a little higher since silver's up since I bought them, which is crazy. But I was wondering, at $15, am I okay? Well, that's 4 of it. And this particular 1937 one turns out to be, I believe it was 80% silver and a melt value of about $8. So that's $12 worth. And then I've got all these other coins in here. And I think one of them isn't silver. That's 1949, which 1 shilling, it is not silver. So that one was not worth anything. But some of these others reasonably good sized coins are worth about $2 or $3 in silver. This is a sixpence, 1929, which is 50% silver. It's worth a couple bucks. This is an older sixpence, 1925. It's also 50% silver. I think this one, if I remember correctly, this is not silver, I don't think. But some of these other ones, this with Queen and Victoria on it, is a sterling silver piece worth probably about a little under $1 in silver, or right around $1, maybe $1.25 in silver. So and this sixpence is 1933, and it's 50% silver. It's worth a little more than $2. And this half mark, 1905, I think it's worth about $3 in silver. This 10, which I'm not even sure, I couldn't really pin this down to what it is, but it looks like it says something 50. It hard telling. I'm not sure if it was silver or not. But this 3 pence was. It's 1919, so this is sterling. All in all, I feel like this coin lot, the silver in it, it's probably worth about $22, maybe $23 roughly, even though some of the coins aren't silver. But getting it for $15 means I got it pretty far under melt. And by the way, this particular lot ended up being $6 less than its melt, roughly. Now this other box, or bag, I mean, was $42. It's 5.5 troy ounces of coins. Now, not all of them are silver, but a lot of them are. So we'll go through it pretty quickly here. I'm going to pour them out into this box and just start showing them real quick. This one is not silver. This 3 pence, a very small silver coin, probably worth right around $1.50. Now, this one is silver, 50%. It's not super valuable, but it's 0.08, and there are 2 more of those in here, if I can find them. Republic of Portugal, that's not silver. There's another one of those. It's silver. And that one's silver. 50% silver, that's nearly 1/4 ounce of silver there. This 42 shilling is 50% silver, and it's probably worth about $3 maybe. That's not silver. 5 centavos Mexican's not silver. These 2 aren't. They're basically nothing. Although this looks neat. East Indies, Eastern group, British Caribbean territories with the ship on it, is not silver. Another Mexican 5 centimes, it's not silver. Alright, this is a Russian coin, but it is not silver, so who cares? 1963 is not silver. This 5 shilling coin is not silver, I don't think. These two, this 6 pence, that one that said 2, what is not. 6 pence, what date is this? Well, it's Queen Victoria, so this is a sterling piece. It's probably worth $3. I'll grab a couple other ones. Alright, this is the same weight as a US silver quarter, 90%, 6¼ grams. Hello Darby, hello Heather. These are real cool, I like these. This is worth about $7. This 50 centavos is not silver. Alright, Wilhelmina, quarter gulden. I'm not sure. That coin is not silver. This one is 75% silver, I believe, or 80%. It's worth about $3. I'm trying to remember if this 44 quarter guilder is a silver one or not. I think it is. If it is, it's 640, and it's probably 64%, and it's probably worth about $2, give or take. 1950, that one's not silver. That Mexican 36 10 centavos, not silver. What's this? These two, if I remember correctly, these are iron, which they're not worth anything. Well, there's a 1960 Canadian dime, that's 80%, worth probably about $2. None of these are like home run coins, basically. There's Newfoundland coin, 10 cents, 1942. Not too bad. This one is a 3 pence from 1943, so that's 50% silver. A lot of these are only worth about $2 a piece. That 10 centavos is not silver. Alright, there's a 20 centavos Philippine 1944. That's 75% silver. Another one of these 5 Finning German coins that I think it's iron. It's not worth much. 67 3 pence or 6 pence, not silver. So a lot of this isn't silver. Well, there's King George on a Canadian 10 cent coin. That's 80%. Another 6 pence. It's 64. It's not silver. This one is not silver. 66 pence is not silver. This is Australian, and it is a 6 pence, 1927. This one's actually sterling silver, probably worth about $3, almost, right around there. That's Mexican, that's 30% silver. It's worth maybe $1. Another Canadian dime from 1960. Queen Elizabeth, 80% silver. This is only 1¼ grams. It says 835 on it. It's a really small coin, really thin, but it's probably worth close to 80 cents maybe. Alright, here's a 5 cent 1920 Canadian coin, which is silver. I believe it's 80% now, so it's not a lot because it's pretty small. 50 centimes, 1918. French. Don't believe this is silver. Couple King George, well, a King George coin, and this Portuguese is not. I think that, no, it's Luxembourg. I don't believe it is. All right. This 46 sixpence is the last year of 50% silver, if I remember correctly. Worth about a couple bucks probably. This was 1918 on it. It is days centavos. I can't remember if this one was silver or not. What is it? Ecuador? I don't think it was. You know, more than half these coins aren't silver, but there's enough silver in this, I do believe. And there's a sterling silver Canadian 10 cents. 1909 with King Edward on it. So that's silver. A few more coins to cover real quick. 1940 Canadian 10 cent. That is 80%. Worth a few dollars. These are not silver. This is a triplet brand. It's 10x by 20.5 millimeters. A good size loop. And that's what it is. It's a magnifying glass, actually loop. This is a sterling silver Canadian 5 cent. $19.43 is 50%. This 1924 10 centavos Ecuador coin, I don't believe is silver. This last little bitty thing here is a 1/10 Gooden. It's not. I believe it might be silver. If it is, it's 640, but it's so small it ain't worth much. But you take more than half the coins probably aren't silver, but there's enough silver in there. All these coins to be worth, it's probably at least 1.5 troy ounces probably of silver, maybe a little higher. I don't think it's much more than about 2, just because of, you know, how small some of the coins are, and some of them are only 50% silver and other low numbers. But I don't think that's too bad, considering I took a little bit of a flyer on it, not really knowing. But this one's at least $7 under melt value. And trying to figure out where that one bag went. Must have dropped it. Oh, there it is. That second bag I paid $42 for, and it said lots of silver, but all the coins was in it. It's $42, and I'm thinking there's probably about $60 worth of silver in the coins, give or take. So I don't know. But I will tell you that particular loop I have, I bought it from Coin Help Use website. He's a big YouTube channel that has a coin store in Ohio. I recommend watching his videos. You'll learn a lot because he's pretty knowledgeable and fairly down to earth kind of guy, the way he talks and stuff. So it was $6. I don't know how much they would cost if you bought them somewhere else, but it's called Triplet, and like I said, it's 10x by 20.5 millimeter. A lot of these are 18, and 18 is a little smaller, and I don't like it as much. I like the size of this because it allows you to look at your coin like this Isle of Man coin here. It's a 1 crown size. It's a neat looking ship design on this. It's 79 and very shiny, but it's not silver. It's too bad they aren't, because I have 3 of them, and they're all 3 different designs. They're all from 1979 of the Isle of Man, and they all have ships on them. I paid $1 each for them, which really might be more than I should have. But I mean, that's a ship. It's pretty cool looking. I really do not know if that's supposed to be a famous ship that in the British Navy or something, or if it's just a generic ship design they used on the coin. I don't know for sure. But going back to what I started with, 46, from 44 to 46, they used shell casings from World War II to make pennies or cents. So this is a shell case wheat cent. No extra value or anything like that. It's just about 3 cents a copper. It's not really worth very much, but I do like the fact that this is, I got it in change, so it doesn't really cost me anything to get. Now, we'll talk about, someone asked about Delaware coins. Now, there's one error on this. It's called the Spitting Horse, and there's a slight die crack or something, die error, that has a raised section right in front of the horse's face by its mouth, and it goes out a little ways, and it looks like it's spitting. Now, this one you can tell there's nothing there, so I mean, there might be a scratch and the light hits it the right way, but it's not raised, so it's not that. But yeah, I think I got at least 1.5 ounces of silver in this particular bag. And this one, I got about $22 worth of silver, maybe 23 when I bought them. And hopefully my coin dealer has another coin lot similar to these, because I like this kind of stuff. Plus it gives you a chance to go through and check out things. Now, Littlefoot, if you're still around, I talked about this earlier, these guys. I went down to their event, and they were selling, buying coins and stuff. And I took a roll of $half and asked them what they were willing to pay, expecting them to offer about half melt, because they had to drive from Michigan apparently to get here, and they have to drive back and all that stuff. And guy told me he wasn't sure that he'd be back doing it here again, because he hasn't had as many customers come in, or not customers, but sellers come in with stuff, so they may not come back. But he told me that right now they're willing to pay $12 for a $half. It's not melt. It's pretty low below melt, but it might be more than what some coin dealers are willing, especially pawn shops. If you can get half your melt out of a pawn shop, it's not worth selling to them. But $12, I thought, that's a fair offer. I mean, because literally silver could go to $30 tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but within a few weeks from where it is now. It was at 46, but it could drop. If it does, and you're buying a lot of it right this moment, you're going to be in silver debt, as the Kansas Kid talked about in one of his videos once. I recommend going to the Kansas Kid too, and check out Littlefoot Silver. Oh, it's on fractional? Oh, I'll have to watch that. Anyway, one other thing I want to talk about. You see this ashtray. This is coin glass amber. It's really heavy glass. It's really nice. This isn't the most collectible color though. The three of them sitting on my table here are not the most collectible colors. The red, the blue, and the Kelly green are the most collectible. Now, I do have pieces of each. The Kelly green, the blue, several of the blue, because I really like the blue, and red. But you can kind of tell maybe this bottom section of this is pretty thick. So this glass ashtray weighs a lot. It's coin glass. I think they first started making it in around the 30s. It's real cool stuff. This one's in remarkably good shape too. It's not got a bunch of chips or wear and tear on it. I'll polish out the center with my shirt tail here, and you can kind of look in there through the glass, and kind of, if the light hits it, you can kind of see there's a couple small scratches on it, but it's not terribly bad. All right, since I mentioned it, one of the most desirable colors of coin glass right there. It's called the ruby red. This is a nappy dish. This particular piece, the nappy dishes aren't real super high priced. I think this was $10 when I bought it, which isn't that bad. It says 1887 on it. The frosted glass around the coin here is how you tell it's not later day production. I have one of those so I can show you what they look like. This amber one, if you don't know anything about coin glass, you might think it was one of the older ones, but look at the coin. It is not frosted. If it's not frosted, it is a reproduction later. This one's not real bad, but it does have a chip right there. It's not real sharp though. It was like $4. I bought it just to be able to show someone that difference on this coin glass stuff. Now, this blue I have right here is a bigger ashtray, and it is also pretty high collectible value. Clean it up a little bit. It's got some scratches in it, but you can kind of see how cool this blue color is. It's like a neon blue. You can see the scratches on the, so this got used. And it has the 1887 date on it. It has the Liberty Bell. It has a colonial soldier. And it has the torch with the star. This is a really nice piece. This cost me $20 when I bought it. That's about the going rate on these, on the blue one. If it's clear, like this, or this darker green, this is an olive green, they are not worth as much, and you shouldn't pay more than about, I'd say, $10 if you find one this size. This is about 8 inches across, maybe 7.5, somewhere around there. It's a good size, very heavy piece. Put my hands under it and you can kind of judge size. My hands aren't like NBA players or anything. I'm not that tall, so I do have a ruler. Forgot that. You can see it's like from there to there's about 7 3/4 almost, or 7.5, give or take. So it's not 8 inches. They do make one of these, which I have, but it's in a box, and I could get it out. I might do that, but I'm going to go ahead and show this, and I'm going to show the Kelly Green one, which is the same type of tray. And Kelly Green, or this one's got a few scratches and stuff on it. That's the green I'm talking about. Very collectible. This color, this was about $20. I ordered it off eBay. It's got scratches and stuff, and a couple of them are pretty bad in terms of they break the surface, and you can maybe hear it clicking my fingernail. It's not sharp though, and there's a couple little dings on the corners, so it got used quite a bit too, but the color is very spectacular when you compare it to what this olive green looks like. It's darker and not quite as nice. Now, the big ashtray. Yeah, well, if you backlight this stuff, it looks really cool. Don't have much in the way to do that. The best I can kind of backlight this is using a flashlight. Maybe you can get an idea of what it looks like. A little light hitting it from behind. It's not a real bright light though, and it doesn't cover much distance. I had a different light. Where is that? It was over here. I don't know where I put it. Doesn't matter. That green one was probably the last one of those I'm going to buy, because I've got quite a few pieces and really know where to keep them. Jesus. All right. Now, for the really big ashtray, and it's the neon blue. Oh man, this thing's heavy. Has the island in the center. This is for cigars. This thing's about 10 inches across. It's kind of hard to hold it and give you a perspective of how large this is, but you can easily set silver dollars in this and make like a silver moat, and I have a video like that. This crazy thing runs about $50, $50 online. I found someone that was willing to sell one for $28, and it has the Colonial Soldier on it there, the Liberty Bell, the Eagle. Yeah, this is hard to hold this way because I'm holding it way out, and it's not light. this glass is very thick on the edge, and the actual bottom, I don't know if you can kind of tell, but it's probably at least, I would say, it's at least maybe a quarter inch, maybe even 3/8 of an inch thick. It's a really thick piece of glass that's really heavy, and this color is spectacular in this size dish, and it's about 10 inches across, give or take. Let's see if I can show you. So that's at the edge, right at 10 inches. It is the one dish I was looking for a long time. No one ever had it anywhere, any of the antique shops I went to, so I had to buy it on eBay. But $28 was what they wanted. I said, you know what? That's a lot less than everybody else was offering for it. And they had good pictures, and I said, it looks legit 100% to me. So I went ahead and got it. But that's pretty much about the extent of what I wanted to talk about. And yeah, oh yeah, one last thing. I did go to that event and talk to him about it. And I had a ring, 14 karat gold ring, that was a wedding band, and it was a bad decision. And I kept it because I didn't want to sell it for less than what I paid for it originally. Or I wanted to get at least what I paid for it out of it. And the guy, when he told me how much he'd pay for it, because gold has went up so much the last year or two, it was more than I paid for it. Not by much, just a few dollars. I said, you know what? I don't need to carry this ring like an albatross anymore. It's time to let go and get rid of it. So, 2.5 penny weight. If you haven't checked, 14 karat gold, 2.5 penny weight. The melt value on that is about $270 now. It's crazy. Now, he didn't pay me $270 for it because he's going to resell it or scrap it. So, but I got more than I actually paid for it out of it, so I can't complain. And I got rid of it. I'm going to talk about something else real quick. These bottles. Oftentimes they have a cork in them like this green one. We'll look at this real quick. That's showing them the Continental 48 with a wagon and horses on it. On that side, it's got a ship. And it says Operation Tall Ships, New York, July 4th, 1976. Actually, there's a second ship here in the Statue of Liberty there. This is Holly City bottles. If you go to antique shops, you see them often. I got it, both of them, for $4. Now let's look at the other one. This one's got, what's this? First U.S. mission to Mars, from, says August 75 to July 76. It's got like it's like a Greek trireme or something. One of them kind of old, or maybe that's a Viking ship. Yeah, it is a Viking. I'm sorry. Not Greek. Viking. And it's showing the Viking 1, which is a lander, and it had an orbital part 2. It's another Holly City bottle. I don't really know how collectible these are, but it is kind of a neat piece. Thanks for giving me a thumbs up. Unless you gave me a thumbs down, that's okay too. One last thing when talking about coin glass. They did make some into the 70s, and this is an example. It's somewhat similar to that blue one, except it only has one big coin in the middle. I think this is from the 70s, maybe the 60s. It's the amber color, and this was about 12 bucks. It's about the same size as that blue and green one I showed you before that didn't have the island in the middle. It's a nice little piece, but I think I paid 12 bucks for it, which is probably right about the limit you should pay for one of these. It's also a pretty heavy piece, but I do like it. But I think that's pretty much about all I really wanted to talk about. Getting US silver like that for $6 underneath the melt value of it. It's worn some, so it's probably more like about $4 or maybe $3 under its actual melt value by its weight. I didn't even bother weighing it because when I told him that the melt value on the 4 coins in this was worth about, at the time, $36, and he told me, I said, I told him I'd be willing to pay him $32 for it, and he said, how about $30? He gave me a good deal because I buy from him often. But that's $7 or so under melt, maybe $8. This is probably about 1.5 troy ounces of silver in it, and the rest that aren't silver are just world coins. You know, but hey, I'm hoping he has another bag similar to one of these. Maybe a little bit smaller number of coins and more silver than this did have. Or be more like this one with less coins overall, so it's not too expensive. Because of silver being $46, it hit 46. I'm almost to the point like thinking, I don't know if I want to keep buying at this kind of price, because if it drops, all the stuff you bought when it was $46, all of a sudden you're going to be in silver debt on it. And it could be pretty harsh because silver could drop from 46 to around 30 or 28 even. And if that happens, you're going to have a lot of problems. People are going to sell like crazy and it'll probably drive the price down some. All right, I do want to thank Darby's Down Home Detecting, Mark Lester, Heather, and Littlefoot, Silver, and Raltz. The other people I want to thank is the Kansas Kid who does a lot of videos. I want to thank Addicted to Minis who made a lot of comments about some of these coins that in these two bags last week when I done the live. And I also want to thank several other people in the coin community that I usually tag in most of my videos. There's too many of them to remember all the names. Bing, bing, bing. But if you go watch any of my videos, you'll see in the details section a bunch of different silver channels of people who do coin stuff that I mention often in, or not mention, but I mean put tags to tell you to go check out their channels and stuff. So, but one last thing about my channel, I am really close to getting to 1 million total views since I started this in 2021, 4 years ago, in a few months now. But you know, it's nice, and I do appreciate people watching my videos. I hope I'm teaching some people some things, but you know, and sometimes you make little mistakes when you're talking about a coin. You call it something other than what it is. And I noticed in one of my videos when I was talking about centavos, centimes, and interchanged them. Basically, it means the same thing. It means cent, as the U.S. coins say 1 cent on them, like this, 1 cent. This is a copper cent from 73. This is worth about, at recent copper prices, nearly 3 cents. I'm hoping that cup, the other cup I have up, another cup I have in it, it's going to be enough to fill this with all copper cents. It's a pretty heavy jar full, a coffee jar full of cents. I don't know, maybe someday in the future someone might pay me more than what it's worth in cents, or dollars worth of cents. I mean, who knows? But yeah, I want to get more of this kind of silver tomorrow. World silver coin lots. And hopefully he'll have a price on them that means I'll be able to make them, make ahead, come out ahead on them. I do have a few more bags like this, but I'm not getting them out tonight. In fact, some of them are in the vault, so you can't get them out anyway. That's where this is going to end up going to, into the vault. Everything goes in the vault, because the last thing you really want to do with something worth much like this is just leave it sitting on your coffee table. You don't want to do that. All the rest of the coins on this table pretty much aren't worth anything. I mean, a few dollars worth of U.S. coins. There might be a silver coin or two around somewhere. Oh yeah, my last Coinstar find. Went by one and saw this. They're stuck together. I don't know what is holding them together, but I assume it's something like maybe they got some kind of soda and it dried, and the sugary stuff inside it made like a glue almost. They'll probably pull apart real easy, but I'm not going to do it right now. But I'm going to wish everyone a good night, and we'll see if I decide to buy anything at all tomorrow or not. But because that's really all I have. I hope everyone has a good night. We'll see you next time.